don't you give us a little intro about who you are, how you got into all of this?
Sure. I'm Liz Larson. I am calling in from California. So I'm on the coast, kind of near Mavericks wave that Dalton's talking about. That would be my closest big wave. I'm representing AdventureSmith Explorations. We are specialists in small ship cruising and wilderness adventures.
You spend time on the
Oh,
water?
yes, I'm very adventurous. I've been to all 7 continents, in large part thanks to my job in adventure travel. But yeah, but very active, do just about a little bit of everything. But
Awesome. Okay.
I wouldn't say definitely not surfing Mavericks. This is Adventure Smith Explorations, who I work for. I've been with the company 12 years. And like I said, we specialize in a very like small format cruise. So in North America, that translates to pretty much under 200 guests solidly. In Alaska, it's more of like an average of 45 guests, and they're quite small. So I'll kind of show some pictures here, um, and kind of go through, um, just to give you an idea why we are here and what we're doing. Kind of similar to a lot of people's paths. Our company started with Todd Smith, and he landed in Alaska in the mid 1990s as a wilderness guide, and he was guiding on land, backpacking trips. But as you grow older, you kind of like want a van to spend the night in, or you want um, a glass of wine and a hot shower at the end of the day. So couple years into doing wilderness guiding, he landed on a ship and was guiding on being a naturalist guide on the ship. And he really felt that it was an amazing base camp to explore Alaska, because so much is inaccessible by road there. So he ended up there and he kind of helped the ship transition away from like what a big ship does, but that's port based, where you're renting kayaks on shore or you're organizing tours through these big towns. Instead, the ship becomes the full base camp and you bring the fun on the ship. So you bring paddle boards, kayaks, you bring the expedition guides along with you, and it's more of like a um, fully immersive trip. So since that time, he was a guide, and he was like, "This is so incredible! I want to spread this message worldwide and promote small ships." So he really helped kind of what many people now know of this type of cruising. We work with operators in Indonesia and all over the world that do this style now, but back in 2003 it wasn't as prominent. So like I said, we're global: Alaska, Galapagos, Antarctica. But if we're talking about the US here today, um, a lot of it comes down to Alaska for us. And we have a lot of, just to kind of back it up, we had some exciting news today, just landed, that I can share today. Todd has now reached 12 years of Condé Nast Top Travel Specialist recognition. And Andrew, one of our other top specialists on the left in the green shirt, he is now also awarded from Condé Nast. He's been with our company 18 years. So this is the type of level of experience you're getting with a company like us. It's goes super deep, and it started in Alaska. So just wanted to show just some of the logistics of what you kind of deal with in a place like Alaska when you're looking at somewhere like Glacier Bay, or you're looking at seeing brown bears on the Katmai coast. A lot of this stuff is inaccessible by land. You could not rent an RV and go to Juneau unless you put it on a passenger ferry. And it's just, there's a lot of logistics involved. So we can really help people like dial in the best experience and get it done. If you're on a timeline, we can get it done within a week. Ideal if you have 2 weeks to see. I mean, some of these transfers between Anchorage and Denali are way bigger than people think. So we can really help just do it in the best way, as efficient as possible. And small ships make it possible in a place like Alaska. So what does that look like? Just these are some snapshots from some of the trips. We work with dozens of ships, so where we can match make people per their interests. But you're kayaking, you can polar plunge if you want. You can also just beachcomb, and we have a lot of multi generations taking these types of trips that are kind of doing it all in one trip, choosing their own adventures. Some of them can go out on a harder charging hike And some of them can just like lay low on the ship even if they want, or most people are getting off and doing some form of off ship activity twice a day. Come back for lunch, come back, and the captain usually sails you to a new spot. Photography experts are on board, lots of like-minded passengers on this type of trip. You're really only about 45 to 100 max on board on our Alaska partnerships. So a lot of people kind of call it like a summer camp for adults feeling, where you're just like all coming back together over dinner. And this picture is to show you the contrast of what you're not often passing by a big ship in Alaska, but this person caught it, I believe, on a drone, or either they're on land on this glacier. But this is one of the few places you might pass one in Glacier Bay because it is highly permitted and lots of ships come in and out on day tours. So a lot of people know the big ship experience, or they think it's easy to book because the price looks cheap. But yeah, this is the little guy. And if you can kind of see blurred in the background here, there are little people down there. They're getting off the boat right off the stern there, and you are kayaking, you're getting to go on shore, versus on the big ship, you just can't, they cannot do that in Glacier Bay. They cannot do that. The ships are, you can't anchor overnight in Glacier Bay, even on a small ship, but in most other locations in Alaska, you're anchoring in a remote place, watching sunrises and sunsets. Uh, so,
Wow.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
good.
keep going.
Oh, good.
I was up on the Norwegian, I think, in Glacier Bay this last
Yeah.
summer, and I almost feel like it was twice as big as that big boat. It was
Yeah.
like massive.
It's incredible.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is just showing more of that contrast. This is our little guy, and I mean, you can't even see this one's out of the frame. So it's a big difference. If you are sending someone on a cruise, you really need to understand that there is another way. And like we had talked about on some of this other stuff, you really need to look at the full price of the full trip. So big ships look cheap, but they have a lot of added costs when you tack on the shore excursions. And on our trips, those are included. So this is
Wow.
not, I know we don't have time for all that now. So I have a whole post on it we can send if you're interested. But this kind of just shows you the level, just some visuals. We also book private charters. So like Russell was saying, from the Adventure Travel Trade Association, we are members there. And like he said, custom itineraries are hot, and we are seeing it very much with small yachts. This one's actually, this one might be even 36. It looks smaller than that. But we have as low as 8 guest yachts you can charter and just design your own experience. So we do a lot of that and have lots of options. And when you charter your own boat, you can do all sorts of added things with added guides and time. Fresh food, crab legs are awesome there, and fishing. And then the big hallmark of our team is that we all go. So we are firsthand expertise from experts who've been. These are the 2 top travel specialists I mentioned earlier, our founder, Todd Smith in Glacier Bay. This is Andrew Browning on a very specialty trip in Katmai National Park. This is like bucket list, get up close to brown bears and photo them. So it was a photo specific trip Dalton would love. And then outside of Alaska, we go to all sorts of other places. We have 80 trips in North America. So this is what it looks like, kind of same experience, take it to Hawaii. This is a 4-island route. You can do a night swim with manta rays. You can really escape the crowds in Hawaii, which it kind of is a whole scene with rental cars, and even you can't really island hop as easy, as efficiently there. And then definitely the places in between, we are doing that as well. This is the Columbia River, Snake Rivers in Washington and Oregon. Lots of food and wine magazine is actually on this route. So they've like kind of partnered with this cruise operator, and they do like specialty wine tastings in the region. We have stuff on the East Coast in the Great Lakes and in the Canadian Maritimes. And we have so much if you want to include Canada and the Arctic as well. So just lots of, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I didn't know that you had all these different programs. This is amazing.
Yeah. Some of the ones on the East Coast right now are on a little bit larger ships, so they're not relative to us. They're maybe 200 passengers maximum, so maybe 150 to 200, and they're a little bit more luxury slant, a little bit more soft adventure, and you're traveling with experts from like Smithsonian or National Geographic photography focused stuff. It's just because there's still going to be kayaking, but it's not as much adventure probably. I don't think they do the polar plunge or anything in the Great Lakes. I'm not sure. I haven't been. Um, but yeah, this is me in Alaska. Had to show my 40-pound halibut caught on an AdventureSmith trip. Just bucket list, lifetime fun experiences. And you get that one-on-one. You guys can talk to us about if you have any questions on the small ship experience. There's our website and what we can kind of bring to people.
Well, Liz, thank you very much, by the way. So before you go, I just want to highlight something you said that you kind of glossed over, but I think it's important for people to hear. You said you're on a boat with like-minded people.
Mhm.
What I love about the adventure space and experiential travel in general, and really this group and everybody, the 117 people currently listening in, is that we are representative of a very specific, I call it a tribe. And we have more in common with each other around the world than we might with our neighbors living in down the road in Jakarta or anywhere else, who like to spend the day in the movie theater or like to spend the day at a spa or like doing something else. The people who are involved in this space, who love doing this travel, are the people that you're most akin to. And that transcends geography and ultimately other maybe historic culture in your country. So when you're sitting in a boat with 45 people, you're meeting people from around the world, including Americans, but also anywhere in the world, that have more in common with you than perhaps other people in your own nation. So I think that that's very exciting, because that makes such a difference in the experience, I would think.
Definitely. Yeah, you can kind of expect, we call our travelers like self-selecting, typically they're willing to pay a little bit more, but they want to do it right the first time. They care about the environment. They care about being adventurous. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely a fun. I've made lifetime friends on some of the trips I've been on through my job, and I know that I am not alone. It is very fun. Like I said, the summer camp for adults, it has that feeling. There's no assigned seating. You're kind of at dinners or meals. You're kind of just meeting new people throughout the week, depending on how big your ship is.
yeah, great.
So yeah, we book if that's not clear, we book individual cabins on these ships, or you can actually just charter your own and bring your own small group. We've booked everything from zoological societies, so bigger groups, down to just couples, solo travelers. It's also a great safe space for solo travel. We have so many
Great.
single people doing this type of travel.
Liz, thanks so much for joining and for your support and your organization for bringing the world closer together. So thank you.